Yo guys, Kev here at Kev RC. Today we're going to talk a little bit about gear mesh. Right, it's important that you set the gear mesh correctly between the motor and your spur gear. It's the same on nitros and electrics. You've got to get that mesh set properly. Too loose, you're going to end up shredding teeth off your gears. Too tight, you're going to put loads of load on your lace shaft bearings, your motor bearings, engine bearings, and you're not going to do anything any good. You're just going to get some heat building up. You're going to be killing bearings, melting spur gears maybe, a whole load of other problems. So it's important to get the gear mesh spot on. A lot of people do struggle to get it right, so I thought I'd make a little video to show you how. If it's set up properly, it should move nice and freely without binding, but not too sloppy so you're going to strip gears. This one's a touring car, but same principle in other RCs. Well, you've got your spur gear there, and you've got your pinion gear there. And you want to get that mesh between the two just right, so you get maximum reliability. So I don't know if you can see that on the camera. If you hold that pinion, and then you rock the spur gear back and forth, the idea is to get the motor or engine as close to that spur gear as possible, but you still got to feel a tiny little bit of play like that. And you want to try that on all sides of the spur gear. Just turn it round in different positions and make sure that you got that slop there. So for a little example, I'm just going to slacken this off. So the motor's loose in there. If you ever change pinion gear size or spur gear size, or take the motor out and put it back in, then every time you're going to have to reset your gear mesh to get it right. So the way that I do it is get that, sort of nip these up sort of fairly, just really loosely, one of them, and then just play about with it a little bit. Put your finger on the spur, on the pinion, and rock your spur gear. Right, there's no slop there at all. So that's too tight. So you've got to bring that motor away a tiny bit. It's a bit of trial and error. Yep, still too tight. I'm struggling a bit more than usual here because I've got the camera in the way, so I can't get in there properly because I'm trying to show you guys what I'm doing. Let's try that. Right, that's way too loose now. I don't know if you can see that in there. That's much too loose, that one. So we'll try again. Right, I can feel a tiny bit of slop there. And that feels about right. Yep, I can feel a bit there. So then go ahead, nip both screws up and try again, and that feels about perfect. Then try that on all the way around. Try the same thing. Try and get that into focus so you can see a bit better. Right, so if you put your finger on top of the pinion gear and move your other hand, rock the spur gear back and forth just like that, and I can feel just a little bit of slop there. It's not much, but that's how you want it. That is spot on. If you've got a nitro, then normally the screws that you've got to adjust are underneath. So where the engine is, underneath on the chassis, you'll see 4 screws that hold the engine down to the chassis. If you undo them, then the engine will move closer or further away from the spur gear. And you want to set the mesh the same on that, as tight as you can, close as you can get it, but you still got to feel a little bit of backlash. If you can't feel any backlash, it's too tight. Right, there's a little trick what you can do if you're struggling to get that backlash perfect. and you're struggling and struggling and struggling, and you've tried it 100 times and you still can't get it right, then here's a little hack what you can do. Get yourself a bit of paper. Cut off a little strip. Now I'm going to loosen these off on there. Put your bit of paper, not too wide, just get it in the way of the belt, a bit narrower. Feed that in between the spur gear and the belt like that. And then, with that in there, you can now undo the motor, push the motor fairly tightly up to the spur gear. So that's tight now. Look, there's no play there whatsoever. That's tight. Just nip your motor screws up. Pull that out, and in theory, you should have a perfect mesh. Yep, spot on. Tiny bit of backlash there. But one thing worth remembering when you do it this way, still check it afterwards by hand. You know, even if you put your paper in there and you've meshed it up tight, still put your hand on the pinion and rock the spur gear. Make sure you feel a little bit of backlash. Because what can happen, especially on a nitro, because the motor mount's not quite as direct on them, you've got flex in the chassis and stuff, you could put your bit of paper in there, move the engine up tight, tighten everything up, pull the paper out, and then the flex in the chassis can sort of bring the engine back closer again, and you still haven't got your backlash. So don't trust this 100%. You know, it's an easy way to set it, but still double check by making sure you got the backlash. So that's how you do it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, maybe share my video. If you didn't like it, then you can give me 2 thumbs down. So cheers for that, guys. See you soon. Oh! Oh, that centre shaft's proper bent, dude. Oh, broken.